Anthony, can you tell us what's going on?
Well, you can see we're having a barbecue at the moment.
Yeah,
Germany.
you came prepared.
Yeah, we are always prepared, yeah. And this is the most frequent highway in Germany.
The most used highway in Germany?
Actually in Europe, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
A2. So it's not normal to stand here, but no, we are sick of lies. We are sick of trying to get rid of our jobs. It's not only farmers, it's the lorry drivers, it's the normal workers. Everybody is sick of politicians who have no idea what they're talking about, who have no education to tell us how our lifestyle should look like. And this is the result of 4 years trying to get in contact with politicians, talking to them on an equal level, but they won't listen. And now we have no other choice than to demonstrate, and it's our right. And
Yes.
it's one of the highest rights, especially in Germany.
Yeah.
To demonstrate. We are not violent. This is all friendly. You can see we have a small gap and people can drive through. Police, ambulances, everybody can come through. But this is only the tip of the iceberg, to be honest. Because all over in Germany this is the West. We have Dutch farmers coming over to support us.
At
In
the
the
border.
East, we have Hungarian farmers, Polish farmers, and we are all united in getting rid of politicians who are trying to get rid of us.
Right.
This is my video update on this Tuesday morning, January the 9th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with some breaking news. Now, I can't confirm this next story, and I don't know how much trust I place on the outlet that is reporting this breaking news. But if it is true, if this is confirmed later on in the day, then this could be some pretty big news. And this is coming from Newsweek Romania. And they are reporting that Turkey has agreed to allow mine hunter ships to enter the Black Sea. And this agreement will reportedly be signed next week between Turkey, Romania, and Bulgaria. And once this agreement is signed, then other NATO ships will be invited to participate in this agreement, this operation of removing mines in the Black Sea. So that is what is being reported by Newsweek Romania. Now, Newsweek as a news source is hit or miss, to be quite honest. Mostly it's miss, but sometimes they get things right. I'm not sure how reliable Newsweek Romania is, but if this is true, then this could be a pretty big story. Now, the one thing that leads me to believe that this could have some truth to it is the fact that Blinken was in Turkey. And he was in Turkey meeting with Erdogan. And it would not surprise me if Blinken met with Erdogan and pushed Erdogan to open up the Black Sea. And according to Newsweek Romania, one of the conditions to this deal is that Turkey will get the F-16s, that whole F-16 deal that it has going on with the U.S., that deal will finally be fulfilled by the United States for F-16s and F-16 parts and the whole F-16 program, which should have been fulfilled when Erdogan agreed to allow Finland and Sweden into NATO, though Sweden is still hit or miss as far as getting into NATO is concerned and getting Turkey and Erdogan's approval, but according to Newsweek Romania, that's the conditions of this deal. Turkey gets all the F-16 stuff, and in return, it opens up the Black Sea, going against the Montreux Convention, but it opens up the Black Sea for mine hunter ships and then other NATO ships possibly entering the Black Sea. If this is true, this could be a huge and very dangerous escalation. But you know, there might be a part of this story that is true. Perhaps there's a part of this story that is true. Perhaps none of it is true. But knowing Erdogan, even if this story turns out to be true, or a part of it turns out to be true, and Erdogan allows NATO mine sweepers, mine hunter ships into the Black Sea, I imagine UK mine hunters and I believe Norway also wanted to get ships into the region, and all of this is connected to the allegedly to the shipment of grain out of Ukraine. But if any of this is true, you know, Erdogan, even if he signs this agreement, you know, Erdogan plays a game. He plays the game. He's the master of the game. And he can say one thing today and do something else tomorrow. And even if he signs an agreement, it could take Erdogan a year to implement that agreement. And if he doesn't get the F-16s, or he doesn't get put into the F-16 program, like what happened with the whole NATO, Finland, Sweden agreement, Finland, Sweden, NATO agreement, where he was supposed to get money from the IMF and get the F-16 parts and all of that stuff. If the deal breaks down, then Erdogan can also just renege on this deal as well, if this is true, if any of this is true. I don't know. We'll see as the day progresses if Turkey denies this, or if this does indeed turn out to be the case and an agreement is signed next week between Turkey, Romania, and Bulgaria, and we start seeing ships moving into the Black Sea, NATO ships moving into the Black Sea. Either way, I imagine that Russia is prepared for this. They might have even been expecting this. And once again, you're dealing with Erdogan. So, you know, he may sign something. He may say something with regards to the Montreux Convention and the Black Sea. But with Erdogan, this thing can go on for years. It can go on for years. So we'll see. This could be big news. But Newsweek Romania, they are reporting on this story. So let's now turn to the Washington Post. And not the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal and their report that Nord Stream, the Nord Stream investigation, is being obstructed, allegedly is being obstructed by Poland, or was being obstructed by Poland. Allegedly was being obstructed by Poland, according to the Wall Street Journal. So they read an article yesterday with the title, Nord Stream probe hampered by resistance from Poland. Investigators hope Warsaw's new government will shed light on gas pipeline attack after previous administration's reluctance to disclose potential crucial evidence. So according to the Wall Street Journal, the investigation that is being conducted by Germany, Sweden, and I want to say Denmark. Yeah, Germany, Sweden, and Denmark. The investigation into who blew up Nord Stream. Well, this investigation was being obstructed by one sec. Very windy now. All right. this investigation was being obstructed by Poland, according to the Wall Street Journal, by the previous government, the Law and Justice government of Poland, Morawiecki and Duda, Kaczynski, and all of these guys. That's what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. Let me see here. Should I read you some of this article? Polish officials have resisted cooperating with an international probe into the sabotage of Nord Stream natural gas pipelines and failed to disclose potentially crucial evidence, according to European investigators working on the case. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Poland was slow to provide information and withheld key evidence about the alleged saboteurs' movements on Polish soil, according to investigators. And according to the Wall Street Journal, the investigators are now hopeful that the new government of Donald Tusk will be more cooperative with the European investigators. The Wall Street Journal also reports that these European investigators have long believed the attack was launched from Ukraine via Poland. Wow. But they say that Warsaw's failure to fully cooperate has made it hard to establish whether the attack happened with or without the former Polish government's knowledge, according to senior officials. Interesting claims from the WSJ. Duda, are you hiding something, Duda? Are you hiding the truth as to what happened to Nord Stream with the Andromeda yacht in Gilligan and the skipper and Zaluzhny, the mastermind behind all of it? Let's read some more here. Any suggestion that Poland, a North Atlantic Treaty Organization member, might be concealing information about an attack on an ally could undermine trust in an alliance that is facing one of the biggest tests since its creation. Yeah, that's right. If it comes to light that Poland was hiding crucial information as to who blew up Nord Stream, well, that could undermine the trust of the alliance. But the fact that the fact that Ukrainians were the 6 crew members on the Andromeda and blew up Nord Stream, no problem. Just send more billions to the Elenksy regime. No one has a problem with the narrative that Ukraine and Zaluzhny and all of these guys, allegedly Ukraine and Zaluzhny, that all of these guys were behind the blowing up of Nord Stream. There's no problem there. But if Poland is withholding evidence, well, then all trust is lost. The commander-in-chief of Ukraine allegedly masterminded the Nord Stream bombing. No problem. Send him some more billions. Send his military some more billions. Germany, send him some more money. Germany and Schultz. Oh boy, let's see. Investigators haven't offered evidence linking the Polish government to the explosions and say that even if some Polish officials were involved, it could have been without the knowledge of the political leadership. Yet they say efforts by Polish officials to hinder their investigation have made them increasingly suspicious of Warsaw's role and motives. Most Western security officials believe that a Ukrainian crew operating with or without sanction from Kiev was behind the sabotage. Ukraine has denied any involvement. Russia said it thought the U.S. was responsible for the attack, which the U.S. denied. Yes, the Ukrainian crew operating with or without knowledge from Elenksy. With or without knowledge from Elenksy. Oh, man. What a joke. What a joke. Russia believes that the U.S. was behind it, but the U.S. has denied any responsibility. Why would Russia believe that the U.S. was behind any of this? Come on, Russia. Why would you even think that? Just because Biden had Olaf Schultz at the White House and told the media that he's going to blow up Nord Stream. I mean, Is that what's leading Russia to believe that the U.S. was behind this? Come on. Just because Biden and Nuland and Blinken said that they're going to deal with Nord Stream is no reason to believe that the U.S. was behind Nord Stream. That's ridiculous stuff. Ridiculous. So here's a picture of the Andromeda yacht, by the way, from this Wall Street Journal article. That's the Andromeda, everybody. That is the ship that allegedly carried 6 Ukrainian crew members, with or without the knowledge of the Elenksy regime, and allegedly masterminded by Zelensky. This is the yacht that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, the Andromeda. Their storytelling just gets more ridiculous with each iteration, with each passing day. Their narratives get more and more ridiculous. Oh man, oh man. So that's the latest from the Wall Street Journal. Germany, Sweden, Denmark. They're trying to crack this case. They're trying to figure out who done it, who could have done it, but they just can't figure it out. So sticking with Germany, we have a big protest taking place in Germany, a farmers' protest, which is taking place in Germany. People are very upset at the fact that prices are going up, subsidies are being cut, programs are being cut, money to the people is being cut. But Schultz continues to want to send money to Project Ukraine. Schultz just the other day, as a protest is taking place. How do I get in here? As a protest is taking place throughout Germany, and everyone's very upset at the deindustrialization of Germany, Schultz is begging Germany and all of Europe to send money to Project Ukraine. Schultz criticizes EU for providing insufficient military aid to Ukraine. Here is what Olaf Schultz said. As significant as the German contribution is, it will not be enough to ensure Ukraine's security in the long run. Therefore, I call on allies in the European Union to strengthen their efforts regarding Ukraine. The planned weapons deliveries to Ukraine of most EU member states are not enough, according to Olaf Schultz. And the German finance minister also told EU member states to up their contribution to Project Ukraine. As protests are taking place, he wants more money to Project Ukraine. Unbelievable stuff. Here is what Medvedev tweeted the other day. Strikes in Germany. Farmers have blocked much of the country. Subsidies have been ended, and astronomical amounts spent on Ukraine are still growing. And Germany is the main funder. If this goes on, WSJ will export their proven weapon, the Maidan, to Berlin. In this case, it is highly doubtful that Schultz, the liver sausage, will hold out. We are following with malicious interest. Man, that Medvedev. Well, he's right. The Elenksy curse is going to get Olaf Schultz. I think that's pretty obvious now. Olaf Schultz is on the way out, but he's going to continue to deindustrialize. I think he's accepted his fate. I imagine the powers that be probably told him, just continue on course, Olaf. Just keep on sending money to Project Ukraine, and when we remove you, don't worry. You can lay low for like a couple of months, and then we'll find you a nice, cushy job somewhere in one of our organizations. I'm sure something like that has been worked out with Olaf. So, yeah, that's Medvedev, the liver sausage. Olaf, the liver sausage. That's what the Ukrainian ambassador, the former Ukrainian ambassador, called Olaf Schultz, the liver sausage. And Olaf just took it. He just accepted it. I'm a liver sausage? Well, here's another billion. The reality is that the EU, without the United States, they can't keep Project Ukraine afloat, not even close. They know that without the United States, it's over. They know that. So they're just trying to make it seem like they're committed to Project Ukraine in the hopes that the United States will join in. We'll have pity on the EU and say, well, you know, if our partners and our allies in Europe are so committed to Project Ukraine, well, you know, we can't abandon our partners and allies in Europe. So we also have to stay committed to Project Ukraine. That's what the Europeans are hoping for. During the defense conference that took place the other day in Sweden, let's go this way. The Swedish defense minister, he told the people in attendance that war could come to Sweden. The country must brace for a potential confrontation with Russia, according to the Swedish defense minister. Everyone's talking up war in Europe. Why would they be talking up war in Europe? Why does Germany want to keep the war going in Ukraine? Why is Sweden talking up war? Well, it's all about the money, money, money. That's what it's all about. And all of the EU countries now are committing to upping their military spending. I believe that Kaja Kallas from Estonia, Kaja Kallas, she committed Estonia to 0.25% of their annual budget to be spent on weapons for Project Ukraine for 4 years. That's Kaja Kallas committing to the MIC that Estonia will buy weapons for Project Ukraine for 4 years. And remember the article from the New York Times, which was an advertisement for the Patriot missile system? I talked about this a couple of days ago, how awesome the Patriot missile system is. Well, you see those adverts, those advertisements that the Collective West Media runs on behalf of the MIC, they work. They absolutely work, because you have Germany, Romania, and the Netherlands actually signing a contract of 5.5 billion to purchase 1,000 Patriot missiles. Europe's stockpiles of Patriot missiles, well, they've been depleted by Project Ukraine. And now Europe has to restock. So 5.5 billion to the MIC to purchase 1,000 Patriot missiles. Not bad for the military industrial complex, huh? No wonder their stocks are going up and up and up. So we have a new timeline on the F-16s, the wonder weapon, the final wonder weapon that will be delivered to the Elenksy regime. And that timeline is 6 months, according to Norway and Denmark. The Danish Defense Ministry confirmed in a statement to Newsweek on Sunday that its F-16 shipment was not expected to happen, is now expected to happen during the second quarter of 2024, while noting that the timeline of the donation is subject to change. So the F-16s were supposed to come online. The awesome wonder weapon of the F-16 was going to happen in the first months of 2024, but now it's been pushed back till the second half of the second quarter of 2024. Delays for the F-16, and my thinking on this is that the collective West, they're worried about what'll happen when the Russians have to face off with the F-16s, which is what happened to the Leopard tanks. And I don't think the collective West can absorb, can stomach that type of embarrassment. If the F-16s meet the same fate as the Leopard tanks, that's going to be very, very bad news for the collective West MIC industry, the military-industrial complex. I mean, look at all of the business and all of the negotiations and the back and forth surrounding the F-16s in Turkey. Look at all the leverage that the F-16s provide over Turkey and over Erdogan. Can you imagine if they sent F-16s to Ukraine? If and when they sent F-16s to Ukraine, and the Russians just start taking all of them out in much the same way they did to the Leopard tanks? Then you would have Erdogan just saying, you know what, I'm not interested in the F-16s anymore. Let's close the Black Sea off, and I'm not interested. No, thank you. I've seen what the F-16s do in battle, and I'm done. In combat, I'm done. I'm done. So yeah, I don't think they want to risk it. I think they're having serious doubts about the F-16s in Ukraine facing off against the Russians. But the plan from Elenksy is that the F-16s are going to capture Crimea. That is the new battle plan. That is the new big counteroffensive, the counter to the counteroffensive that Elenksy is pitching to the collective West. No joke. Elenksy said the other day that in an interview, in a statement, he said that the reason the counteroffensive failed is because the plan, the operation plan was leaked to the media months in advance. Right? That's what Elenksy was saying. Gee, I wonder who was leaking the plans to the counteroffensive months in advance. Anyway, that was Elenksky's complaint with the failure of the counteroffensive. And it looks like he didn't learn his lesson, because he's already talking about the new plans to capture Crimea, which is the bridgehead in Kherson, and then the F-16s moved into position to provide support to the bridgehead, and then they would advance 60 kilometers and they would capture Crimea. That's the new plan. And look, if Elenksy is saying this, then it's a solid plan, because Elenksy is the next Churchill, right? So whatever battle plans Elenksy is cooking up, that they have to be good. He is the next Churchill. Macron is the next Napoleon. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? That is the plan, by the way. That is the strategy that Elenksy is putting out there. The bridgehead in Kherson, the F-16s as cover, and 60 kilometers to Crimea. So in order to get this big counter to the counter offensive going, Ukraine needs 500,000 soldiers, right? And the mobilization of these 500,000 soldiers, as I've been reporting over many weeks, is not going well at all. And so the Ukraine parliament, they're trying to figure out ways to find 500,000 people to mobilize. And now they're going to actually put to the parliament legislation which says that if you avoid mobilization, if you avoid going to the front lines, then your bank account will be frozen. Ukraine threatens to freeze draft Dodgers' bank accounts. The measure will be discussed as part of a new mobilization law. So, what do you think is now happening in Ukraine with this planned, this rumored new mobilization law, saying that bank accounts are going to be frozen if you don't go to the front line? What do you think the people's reaction is going to be to this? Bank run. Yeah, I mean, so the reports are, I can't confirm this, but various reports on social media claim that Ukrainian citizens are now going to their bank and pulling out their money. Of course. Of course. That's obvious. So yeah. Freeze my account? Well, there's zero in my account, so go ahead and freeze it. But you know, the European Union and the collective West leaders, they look at these schemes, they look at these possible laws, and they look at them with great interest, you know, because these are plans that they would like to put in place for their countries. So they see these laws being floated out in Ukraine, they see the people's reaction, and you know that they're adjusting, that they're going to make adjustments, because there's no doubt that they would like to put forward legislation which would involve freezing bank accounts if their citizens don't do A, B, and C. So there's a reason that these laws are being proposed outside of just the mobilization. Ukraine needs 500,000 people. That's fine, but the puppet masters, they're watching and they're learning. They're seeing how people react, and they're taking notes. So the Russian military, they continue to launch missiles and drones into pretty much anywhere in Ukraine. And they're targeting military facilities, military industrial sites. And the interesting part about the Russian missile and drone strikes is that even the Elenksy regime is now admitting that air defense cannot stop the missiles and the drones. Elenksy admitting that air defense has been completely depleted. It's collapsed. And now the Russians can pretty much hit at whatever targets they wish to hit at. So I think that's interesting. But also the fact that Russia continues to take out these military industrial sites. This is not only about taking out the actual weapons, but it's also Russia telling the collective West, go ahead, pushing your ridiculous narrative that you're going to turn Ukraine into the military industrial production capital of Europe. Not going to happen. Whatever military industries you decide to build in Ukraine, we're going to destroy them. That is what the Russian military is essentially saying with these strikes. So let's do some pre-clown worlds, and we'll get to our main clown world. And Netanyahu actually went to the Emirates. Now get this story. He went to the Emirates. He approached the Emirati leader a few weeks ago, and he asked him to pay unemployment benefits to more than 100,000 Palestinian residents of the West Bank who had been unable to travel to their jobs in Israel since October, according to Axios, citing an unnamed Israeli official and another anonymous source. Sheikh Mohammed was taken aback by the request, the anonymous source said, arguing that Netanyahu had created the problem himself by banning these workers from traveling between Palestine and Israeli territory, and he refused to pay. Quote, ask Zelensky for money, Mohammed reportedly jibed at Netanyahu. The Ukrainian president gets a lot of money from many countries, so maybe he would be able to help, Mohammed explained to the Israeli leader in Axios' words. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. But what a reply from the Emirati leader. You want money from us? Ask Elenksy. He's got plenty of money. A very clever reply from the Emirati leader, if this is true, via Axios. So we have a report from Politico claiming that Biden is not going to fire Lloyd Austin. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has kept his hospitalization secret, even from the White House, but Biden won't fire the defense secretary. Oh, man. Is there a job? Name me a job. Name me a job in the real world where you can disappear for 2 weeks and you're not going to get fired. Is there such a job? The U.S. government, I guess, the Biden administration. Incredible, man. Incredible stuff. Biden was giving a speech the other day at a church in South Carolina, I think. Anyway, he was giving a speech in South Carolina. He's kind of kicking off his 2024 campaign. And protesters were at this church, and they were yelling at Biden during his speech for a ceasefire in Gaza. And the interesting part about the speech is two interesting parts about this event is that Biden actually said that he is trying to get Israel to stop the conflict in Gaza, to lessen the operations in Gaza. But Biden cannot say the C word. That's what really struck me. And it was on the tip of his tongue, you know. Even Biden, in his deteriorated state, he wanted to say ceasefire. I'm trying to get Israel to a ceasefire, but he couldn't say it. And so he mumbled and he bumbled that he's trying to get Netanyahu and Israel to dial down the operations. I thought that was incredible. They've all been ordered not to say the word ceasefire. All of them. All of the collective West leaders have been ordered. Do not say the C word. From Trudeau to Biden, they've been prohibited from saying the C word. And the other interesting part about Biden's speech is, one sec, a lot of wind. Let me move back here where there was less wind. All right. Another interesting part about Biden's speech is that when the protesters were escorted out of the church, the people in attendance listening to Biden started cheering 4 more years. You really want 4 more years of this guy? Really? I was like stunned. I was really I was shocked. A lot of people at this event. I mean, you know, it wasn't an empty church, but they started cheering 4 more years of Biden. You're cheering on 4 more years of your country's destruction. Okay. Your country's demise. All right. Anyway, speaking of empty events, Biden's speech at this church was not empty, but Nikki Haley, she was going to speak at a restaurant in Iowa. I think we're a few days away from the Iowa caucus, but she planned an event at a restaurant in Iowa, and no one showed up. Completely empty. 0 people. And she actually canceled the event, which reveals the truth about Haley's support. She doesn't have any. Haley's support is fictional. I believe the term is astroturf. Her support has been astroturfed, if I'm correct with my lingo. But yeah, no one showed up. No one. So that's the event in Iowa. We had this tunnel incident in Brooklyn. but I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. But there were tunnels at this synagogue, and it was connecting another synagogue, and they created these tunnels during the pandemic or something like that. And then the police or the state of New York was going to fill these tunnels up with cement, and all kinds of protests broke out. Anyway, I'm not sure I understand this whole tunnel thing, but it's just interesting that this synagogue had tunnels running underneath it. The irony there. And now we get to our main clown world, courtesy of the awesome team, the awesome site at Naked Capitalism. And they sent me this tweet. Now Europe will suffer. Europe's largest condom manufacturer goes bankrupt due to sanctions against Russia. Europe's largest condom manufacturer, CPR, based in Sarstedt, Lower Saxony, has declared bankruptcy. Attorney Karina Schwartz was appointed interim bankruptcy trustee. The reason for the bankruptcy was electricity prices and the effects of sanctions against Russia. Founded in 1987, the company claims to be the largest condom manufacturer in Europe, producing more than 200 million condoms annually. The deindustrialization of Germany. The condom companies are shutting down because of the high prices in energy. Yep. Anyway, that is the video, the Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. And go to the Duran shop. 15% off all t-shirts. Take care.